Welcome back to part 2 of Kenji's story. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you could get my videos every time they drop. Enjoy part 2. Now you weren't around. You weren't around when they killed the people before. This was before your time, right?
Yeah, I wasn't there.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
So they wanted me to. They said, "Hey, we'll meet you at 101." So we got in the car, and Teddy told his brothers to go ahead before them. Like he sent Danny to go meet them first, and then he sent Carmen and the other kid Walter to be across the street. They were going to be the backup shooters if anyone walked that way. He told me that he's going to take the kids down by the water, and that if there's anyone comes back, for me to use my knife. And I'm like, okay. So then when he's telling me this in the car, Eddie looks back, he turns around, he goes, duck. If the shooting starts, just duck. Because everyone's a bad shot. You know that. Bad. So, and we start driving there, and I'm like, dude, this is what I'm like freaking out because I'm wearing 2 wires. I'm not supposed to, the main thing with the FBI is I'm not supposed to commit violence.
You got guns in the car.
Yeah, this is definitely violence, dude. This is like, there's no turning back from this. So we start to come over this little tiny hill before you get to 101. And when we come over the hill, I mean, there's a huge fire truck, a hook and ladder. There's a medium-sized fire truck. There's a paramedic, and there's an NYPD car there. Right in front of 101. And I'm like, dude, the FBI is really listening to me. They heard it. Like they did this to stop.
Oh, you thought that they were really listening.
Yeah, I'm like, wow, I mean, this is like great. And then Teddy's like, fuck, they're already here. We haven't even done anything. Oh, fuck. And he goes, tell my brother. And Walter that it's off.
That it's
the
off.
whole thing is off. And then as we were pulling up, it wasn't even at 101. It was a restaurant next door. Somebody had a heart attack, and they were wheeling him out. But so, I mean, they still couldn't do anything. So we go over there, and Teddy grabs Craig, and they start to go walk down towards the Verrazano Bridge and talk. And then I'm standing there, and I look across the street, and I see Walter and his brother Carmen with socks on their hands. And
both of them?
No. One sock on each hand, for one guy. And I walk over there, and I'm like, hey, man, Teddy says it's off, No. He's got to tell us. We're doing it. I go, there's fucking cops right here. And so he's like, no. And then I see Danny, and I'm waiting for Danny. I'm like, dude, Teddy says, tell him to go home. And so Danny tells him to go home. And then while I'm crossing the street, another dude from the Gambinos pulls up in his car, and Mercedes is like, hey, man, what's going on? He's talking to me in the middle of the street. And I'm like, oh, nothing, bro. I'm like, hey, I got to go, man. There's a lot of stuff. You don't want to be here. There's a lot of stuff going down. He's like, okay. So he leaves.
You still had the gun on you at that point, right? The empty gun?
No, I didn't take that empty gun. I just had a knife.
Okay. Yeah.
But there's still people there with guns.
Yeah.
And so then I went back there, and then Teddy comes walking up, and like Craig is like, I used to hang out with Craig. I used to go to the movies with him, just go eat with him. We were like friends.
Yeah.
And now he's looking at me like he wants to kill me. He's shooting daggers. This guy is dangerous too. So Teddy says, gets away from Craig, and he goes, hey, we'll take you home. And then he looks at me and he goes, look, man, I think I squared away everything with Craig, but if I were you, I'd never turn my back on him again. I'm like, bro, what? You guys put me in the jackpot, man, like this. And then they literally took me home and dropped me off. And then right after that, I called the feds, and someone met me at a secret spot. I gave them the watch and the belt buckle, and they replaced them with another one. And then that was like a gold mine. That led to that particular incident led to a lot of indictments right there.
Yeah. So did they get like a conspiracy to commit murder and all that?
Yeah, like a bunch of stuff that Teddy got. That went into his racketeering stuff. So 2 times he got arrested for the same thing, basically. Yeah. Because they added it to the second time they hit him with that too.
Did his brother and the other people get all rounded up with this too?
Yeah, all of them got rounded up. And then from that, because he was talking so much, he was telling me like, oh, Craig's made and all these other guys, you know what I mean? He was telling them so much that they were able to get wiretaps on everyone else.
Yeah.
Based on that, even Craig, all those guys.
So this guy Craig, then doesn't he call you to a meeting?
No, he doesn't after that.
It wasn't Craig. It was who was the guy called you to a meeting And you went to he tried to get you to come with him to a truck yard.
Yeah, Manny. Uncle
Manny.
Manny. That Manny. He's Uncle Manny is Eddie Garofalo's uncle. And so
is he a made man?
I don't think so. He could be, and he might not be. I don't know. I'd probably say no, but I don't know now at this point. But he's really well regarded because he brings a lot of money through construction, like Eddie's dad did. So like a large amount of money. So what he did is he called me and he wanted me to go to this meeting. And he was mad at me because I was hanging out with Teddy, and he said that I had told Teddy that he was laundering money for me. So he called me to this meeting, and I met with Manny. We went to this, it's right off by Coney Island. It's a diner. It's like right off the Bell Parkway. And I went in there, and the people at the diner were like, oh, and they motioned me to this section that was closed off. And I'm like, oh, this is not good.
Yeah.
And then I sat down, and Manny's facing the door, and I'm facing my back to the door, which, you know, whatever.
Not good.
Not good, but I'm not really worried. It's not like a movie, you know. There's still people in the diner at this point. And even though we're in a different section. So then Manny starts asking me, did you tell Teddy that I'm laundering money for you? Did you tell Eddie? And I'm like, no, I didn't, because I didn't. And he's like, come on, you must have told him. And I go, no, I didn't tell him.
Because Teddy was pissed off at this point about
not getting money from everyone.
Yeah, because everyone else lives in houses and he lives in an apartment. And
yes, so here's what I did tell Teddy. I did not tell him that, but he asked me, dude, what do you think about? Do you think everyone's making money? And I go, bro, everybody has money but you. He goes, no, I have a truck and a car, a Mercedes, and I look at the place I live. I go, Teddy, you have a truck that we all pitched in. Like I pitched in $5,000 that we all bought you. It's like $40,000 truck, right?
He just got out of jail though, right?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but like he got that, and then they leased him the Mercedes from the company that we were using. So he didn't own the Mercedes. And I told him, I go, you don't own the Mercedes, dude. It's just a lease. It's like a rental. And he's like, what? Yeah. He didn't know, right? And then he's like, yeah, but look at my apartment, my place. I go, yeah, dude, you rent this place. Yeah, they gave you some black leather furniture and a flat screen TV, but
you don't own it.
Dude, yeah, I go, all these other dudes own multiple houses. Your truck yard's owned by Eddie, all this stuff. He goes, yeah, but I own the parking lots with Eddie. I go, no, you don't own them. Eddie's wife and him own them. They're like, yeah, but they give me $2,000 a week or something. And I go, yeah, they're giving you pennies because they're making equity in all those properties.
Yeah.
While you're getting the $2,000 scam, and they're probably taking more, and they're getting the equity. Those are growing in value. And then he started, like, the light bulb went off in his head, and he started getting real mad, right?
He's been in jail so long, and he's young, so he doesn't know any better, you know?
Right. So, and I was just mad at that point. I was burnt out on people, and I like Teddy, and I just wanted to tell him that. So then Manny's like questioning me. He's like, you told him that I was laundering money, and I'm like, no, I didn't. And then I started smirking. Because in my mind I was thinking, you idiot! I recorded this. I should just play it back for you, and then you could see I never said that, you moron. But I was thinking that. So he saw me smirking. He goes, "The fuck are you smirking at? You think this is funny?" And I'm like, "No." He goes, "If you don't wipe that smirk off your face, I'm gonna punch you in the face." And at this point I was like over them. And I go, if you punch me, I'll knock you out and knock out all your teeth. And then he goes, you would raise your hands to me. And I go, in a second. And I go, this meeting is over. And so I got up and he tried to stop me and I just walked out. And then when I walked out, he ran around and he got into his car and he tried to put his car in between me and my car. And he was like, dude, you got to come with me to the tow yard. I'm like, I'm not going to the tow yard. It was like, it started to get dark. I'm not driving over to Staten Island. No way. Not in a million years. And then he's like trying to grab me. And I'm like, dude, don't fucking touch me, man. And then I hit my electric start on my truck. And underneath my seat, I had a little 25 automatic. And I was like, I just got to get there, man. I'll be okay. You know what I mean? I got to get around his car and get to that. And so, and once I get in my car, because I had a big truck, I'm like, no one's gonna be able to stop me. Like, I'll just roll. I'll just keep on going. You know what I mean? I'll make this a bad scene. And so I looked, and behind this, right next to the diner was an abandoned gas station, and behind it, I saw a little Honda, which I didn't recognize. but inside was that kid Walter and a kid Frankie that I know from the neighborhood that were, and they're like, you know, shooters, big trouble.
Oh,
and
so
I knew that dude, when I saw them, they were in a different car, probably a stolen car. I knew that they weren't just there.
They were there to shoot you.
Or do something to make sure I got in the car, got to Staten Island. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then whatever. Once you're stuck, you're trapped.
Right.
So you're trying to get out of there, right?
So yeah, I ran around Manny's car, clicked open my door, reached underneath there, grabbed that, got in my. Once I had that in my hand, I was like, "That's it, I'm safe." Like, there's no.
Did you even have to show it to him?
No, no one even saw it. I just had it in my lap, and I jumped in the truck, and I went boom over the curb, and just went down, and no one followed me. I went down the Belt Parkway, I head towards Manhattan, and I was like, "Screw you," and I just left. And then later on, Manny called me up, and he's like, "Oh man, I think I overreacted." I'm like, I go, "Fuck you," and I just like cussed him out. I'm like, "Fucking off." And so the FBI called me back, and they're like, "Dude, why'd you do that, Manny?" And I go, "Dude, I just over with it. I can't do it anymore. This is it." And they said, "Oh man," and I'm like, "Oh fuck him." So then they're like, "Don't be so harsh on him next time." So when he called back, he tries to be real nice to me, and they want me to meet him places, and I'm like, "Bro, you guys can meet me at Times Square if you want."
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. You can meet me at Times Square. I'm not going to Brooklyn. And then I kept on playing with them. And then I had to go to Toronto like the next day or the 2 days later. And so I went to Toronto, and then Eddie Garofalo was calling me. He's like, "Hey man, where you at?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm in Toronto." And he's like, "Hey, where you staying?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm at the Hilton," which I really wasn't. I was at the Westin. So far away. I need a different name. And he's like, "Oh, I'm thinking about taking a ride up there. I'll come see you." And I'm like, "Yeah, right." Yeah. So the FBI calls me right back, and they're like, "Dude, did Eddie just call you?" And I'm like, "Yep." And they asked me, "What'd he say?" They're like, I said he wanted me to.
He wants to come to Toronto.
And he goes. They said, "You didn't tell him where you're at." I'm like, "Come on, man, not a chance." And they're like, "Just hold tight, sit tight." So I had to sit up in Toronto for almost 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And then they called me back up, and they're like, "Dude, they're gonna kill you. You can't go back." And I was like, "Yes."
Yeah, and, you're like, "It's over. Now my new life starts."
It was over. So I had to sit up there, and then they had to figure out what to do with me, and that's pretty much it right there.
Yeah. So, have they made threats to you like since then?
They made threats like right after that, and then before people got arrested and before people testified, like someone called me from a payphone and made a threat, which was recorded by the FBI, because the FBI left my phone on purpose so I could answer it and record, and I did.
Yeah.
And someone called from a payphone. They're like, "You know, the FBI is not your friend. Whoever you're talking to, we're your family, we're your friends, and you better do the right thing, motherfucker." So they had him on tape, they had him on video doing it, and they got arrested for it too. And that was it, the mostly time. And then some other people kind of threatened my family a little bit, but I can handle myself. Not a big deal. I've seen some of the guys since then. I saw some guys in LA, and one guy tried to threaten me, and I'm like, "Bro, you want to go? We'll go. You got any people with you? Let's go."
Yeah. I mean, the life is watered down. The reason why I'm doing this show is I used to be a gang member, and I'm trying to, I changed my life, and I'm trying to show people that there's another way than to go to prison or die in the streets, you know? Okay. You don't have.
Yeah, dude, I'm going to tell you this right now. Best decision I ever made in my life, best decision is that day in the deli when I decided to change my life. Okay, I would be dead or in prison for the rest of my life, 100%. Yeah. I spent almost my whole life on paper or incarcerated. Okay, I wasted almost 40 years, man. Just wasted it from juvie all the way up. And guess what? There's no happy endings in the lifestyle. None. Never. Yeah. There is none. No matter what anyone says. No one. You look at everyone. Gotti, Gambino, everyone. There's nobody ever is a good story. Any drug dealer, nothing. There's another good story. And I changed my whole life, dude. It took me, like, I was in protection for 18 months. They changed my identity. They did everything. All I did is read books, study, and work out. I was thinking about what I'm going to do with my life. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? And I was writing. I started writing my book. And what I did is, even after that, it was like, that's like a detox period. It's like 18 months drug free. It's like not mob free. Okay, I'm out. I'm crime free.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even after that, dude, I really wasn't sure how to react, because you still have that chip on your shoulder, you know?
Yeah.
Like you still react like you're a thug, like, you know, like you're a prisoner. Like, you know, someone says at me, like, what are you looking at me for? You know, you come at people. So you have to change everything. And I changed. It took me a long time, man. It was like, that was in 2005. A good time I got out of that thing was like 2007, 2008. I went and I lived in Spain for like 18 months just to relax. I was writing and just working out, training MMA, doing my thing, and trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life. I come back. I own a mortgage company. I became a stockbroker, and I was doing commodities. And then my book came out, and I started writing screenplays, and I started doing that. And then I decided, like, hey, you know what? I really like training people. I like to train. I started training like pro fighters, movie stars, world champions, and I was in Hollywood training and then writing, and it changed my whole life. But even then, it took me all this time until even now, where I was doing things. It wasn't until, 6 years ago, so about 2013, I think, I became a Christian, and my whole life, like, everything changed. Like, I didn't want to go, because I didn't want to go to church, and I didn't want to be one of those cons that you see that's like, oh, I found Jesus Christ and all this stuff, so you get out of parole. I wasn't that kind of guy. But an actor, a well-known actor, started talk to me one day about just about Jesus and church. And then what he did is, after he took me out to lunch and he brought it up, he's like, have you ever thought about Jesus Christ? And I go, you're a good guy. And then right when I got there, I was like, oh man, he suckered me into this thing, but I really like the guy. He's a good friend of mine. And so I was like, I'll just listen to him. So he just told me his story and then never mentioned it the rest of the lunch. That was it. Never mentioned it. And then it got my head thinking. And then another one of my clients ended up sending me a Bible, and I started reading it. So then I told my wife, I'm like, hey, I just want to go to church. And that day is like 7 years ago now, when everything changed in my life, and everything started, working out. And then I started learning that I can't just do things for myself or for money. See, that was the thing. I still had the mob mentality in my head. Like, I just want to make a lot of money. I don't care. As long as I'm not committing a crime, it's okay. Well, there's a lot of things that are in the gray area that are technically legal, but they're not right. So I decided like that. And then I was so burned out, like, after Hollywood and stuff, I was like, yeah, you know what? I just don't want to do this anymore. And I had a good training business there that I moved. And I moved to Illinois, and I moved to a rural community, and I opened my own gym. And I started training people. I do like a program called Rock City Boxing. I teach Parkinson's people to box and help them out. I have a big program. I help. I train first responders, and it's what I do, man. I condition everyone, because that's the guy that I work with in California and in Hollywood for 6 years is a strength and conditioning coach. He's a famous boxer, famous coach, and I work for him. I was his apprentice, and that's what I do. So, and look, I make a lot less money than I used to make, but I make more than enough, and I'm happy now. And I never would ever consider going back to crime. Everyone always asks me, like, would you? Nah, never.
Yeah, but you can't say. Do you miss it a little bit?
No,
not
even at all.
Not even the adrenaline and all that, like.
Bro,
You've had some good times, though, right? You've had some good times in that life. I'm not trying to glorify it or anything.
No, not really. I didn't have really good times. They were good times. I thought were good times at the time, but they're not really good times. They come at the expense of other people and other things, and be irresponsible. No, like, to me, like, all the trips I took all around the world, everywhere I went, it's nothing. Who cares? All that was fleeting. It's not like real substance. You know what I'm saying? Like this, all my friends that I went to high school with, guys that I know that have like a wife and 4 kids and a house and like retirement and everything, bro, they have it. They made it. Those are the guys that do the tough things. I took the wimpy way out. I took the coward's way. There's like no responsibility. I'm gonna do whatever I want. Yeah,
that's what I was doing, man.
And you know what? It gets you nowhere. I did not have any good times. All of it was a fake good time. If I look back at it, you know, all that stuff never made me happy. Corvette, all my motorcycles, everything, dude, it's just a waste.
I'm trying to show these kids out here that it's treachery, nothing but treachery involved with the gang life, with the mob life. It's nothing but backstabbing. Anyone's trying to get ahead of the next person. They don't care about your feelings. They don't care about your family, and that's just how it is.
Yeah, I mean, look, dude, I know Mexican gangbangers in California. I know Crips. I know Hell's Angels. I know Vagos. I know Outlaws. I know like all different kinds of guys. I know guys from the Chinese Triad. I knew Yakuza guys. I know Russian dudes, a lot of them. And guess what? There's no happy ending. Everyone always says, yeah, but look how much money Andy Ricardo had or someone had, right? Or Pablo Escobar. Yeah, dude, he got shot in a roof. You know, there's no happy ending. Even if you have money, your kids always like to commit suicide, OD. I mean, dude, it's not, money is not happiness.
Like all these guys, they're all famous gangsters, but they're all locked up in those pictures.
Right. Yeah.
And that's the reason I have them up there, because they're all in jail, and that's where you'll end up if you stay in that life, you know.
There's no happy endings, no matter who you are, who you think, and those aren't your friends. Real friends care about you. They don't want to shoot you in the back and steal what you have.
Yeah, you know? real friends don't push you to go shoot somebody in front of police officers.
Right. So, that's all I can say to anyone that does it in this life. Believe me, I've seen it all. I mean, I knew guys in the Medellin cartel, man, that imported 10,000 kilos at a time. No happy endings, dude. None. Yeah. So money does not buy you happiness, and the power that you think you have, people being scared of you, it's nothing. Who cares? Yeah. It's fleeting. To work hard and get the satisfaction of having a job and doing the right thing is so much better, dude. Yeah. Hey, guess what? You're going to go through tough times. When you're a criminal, you go through tough times anyway. You go to prison, you get locked up. You know what I mean? You have a lot of problems. Your stuff gets stolen. You're going to have tough times because look, you've been living like crazy for how many years? A decade, 2 decades, dude. You got to pay. It's like a credit card. You owe, and you got to pay. And there's going to be tough times, and there's going to be times where you're going to be like, I can't do this. I'm going to quit. I'm going to go back. But you can't. You just can't. You have to say, I'm going to suck it up. And guess what? Everything today is going to be different from tomorrow. Tomorrow will be different, and the next day is going to be different. So you just get through it. You got to live. It's like, what do they say? Hey, one day at a time. That's it. Yeah. You just got to get past it. And that's what people don't understand. You have to. If you want to change. If you don't want to change, dude, you're just going to end up in an old dude in prison. What's the point?
Or dead. You won't even make it down.
Yeah. Yeah.
But do you wanna say your book title and all that?
Yeah, I mean, I have a book out. It's called Break Shot: A Life in the 21st Century American Mafia. I'm on Instagram at Kenji OC, and there's a new, I think, a Nat Geo documentary coming out sometime this year about me. So you can check that out. But I have another book coming out about my life after the mob pretty soon. About just talking about redemption and changing and doing my thing. And you know, I encourage everyone. Hey, if you could always hit me up on Instagram, write me, and or hit me up on any other ones. You'll find my email. And you know, I talked to a lot of people. I helped a lot of people change and told them the right way to go. Yeah. Can't go wrong.